Good afternoon, folks. Hello, my name is Rich Longo. I am your host for today's presentation. We appreciate you joining us for BMC Track-It in the Cloud, presented by Flycast Partners' very own Dan Podsobinski. Now, Dan's
Good
been around
afternoon.
for a while. Yeah, how are you doing today, Dan?
Doing great. Sunny day
Good.
and
Good.
yeah, sunny day.
You're in Tennessee. It's actually partly cloudy here in Florida, so hopefully you've got some better weather than what we have. So,
Yes, much better. Yes.
well, Dan,
Sunny.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm not the weatherman. But
There you
sorry.
go. Sure enough. So Dan's been in the IT industry since 1982. So he's been in for a while. He's seen a few things, one or two things possibly, and been with Flycast Partners for almost 7 years. Dan has a history of working in marketing and software industries and is skilled in digital marketing, social media, inbound marketing, enterprise software sales, SaaS, partner management, and ITIL. He's a strong organizational sales professional with a Bachelor of Science focused in management information systems from University of South Florida and social media marketing from the University of Tennessee Continuing Education. He's got a lot of experience with these BMC products. And before we get started, Dan, let me introduce Flycast Partners. Flycast is here, as always, to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience. We were founded and staffed by personnel that have many years of experience in the IT space, hence Dan, 1982. And we took the best ideas from these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become a leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in ITSM, ITAM, and ITOM, ESM, and workload automation spaces using ITIL best practices. Our professional services can easily scale up or down to meet the needs of the IT needs of any customer, regardless of your size, complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as the training necessary to reinforce your company's long-term IT success. Our ongoing remote administration support service offerings will enable your organization to focus on those normal day-to-day operations, saving you both precious time and money. Feel free to reach out to us at any time. Call 844-FLYCAST, that's 844-359-2278, or simply visit our website at www.flycastpartners.com. We do have IT experts to answer your questions live Monday through Friday during normal business hours. This is just one of many of our weekly webinars. I encourage you to go take a look at what we've got upcoming on our webinars. Share them with your coworkers. Sign up for things that interest you. Also, take advantage of all the different information we have on multiple technologies that we offer here at Flycast Partners, whether it be data sheets or white papers, whatever it might be that you're looking for. And I encourage you to ask any questions during today's presentation that you might have for Dan. Please take the time to ask your questions in the Q&A section provided on this GoToWebinar platform. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Dan and let him teach us a little bit about the cloud and putting some things in the cloud, Track-It to be specific.
Thank you, Rich. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Dan Podsobinski, and thank you for joining the presentation today on Track-It in the Flycast Partners Cloud, the Microsoft Azure Cloud, as we utilize Microsoft Azure here. So real quick, Rich, I like that one graphic you had up a minute ago, IT service management in the cloud. That's really what we're going to talk about today. Flycast Partners does have a number of IT service management tools that we do provision in the cloud. Track-It is one of them, and Track-It over the years is just a phenomenal product. So thank you for that, Rich. So in Track-It, so just doing a quick little drill down into Track-It here at a high level. What can Track-It do for your organization? Obviously, it's a very, very good IT tool. And we'll drill into a lot of the IT capabilities here in just a minute. It's also a great facilities management tool and a human resources tool. And there's some other grayed out squares here. Track-It is now flexible enough to be able to create other groups that your organization can benefit from a tracking or a workflow management tool. So we'll get into those too in just a little while. And really, just as we're getting ready to start off here, I wanted to put out a poll. What to see what because we may have some Track-It customers here today on the line here in our poll or in our group today. What do you use today for a tracking tool? We have email. That's a very popular one. We have another Jira. A lot of folks use Jira. It's more of seems like a development tool. Track-It obviously is very popular. Sometimes folks do nothing and then use nothing, and then others. So it looks like
most of them are with Other. It looks like they use everything but
yeah. So I got a few Track-Iters and some others. So I wonder what the others are.
If you want to tell us about what the others are, just type it in the chat section or the Q&A section. Just type it in there what the tool is that you're using today. Looks like, and we actually have some folks still using emails, so they probably have email and spreadsheets.
Yep. For some smaller companies, email with folders is pretty dang useful until you get a handful of folks on the team and a lot of employees. Then it starts being hard to manage. In terms of escalations, notifications, things getting filed in the wrong folder. Those are some of the things I've heard in the past.
We have somebody just reached out and told us that their others footprints. They're using footprints. That's good.
Okay.
We can help you out with footprints in the cloud too.
Footprints in the cloud, right? So yeah, all right. We'll touch on those. All right. Thank you, Rich. All right. So let's see. How do I stop this poll, Rich? Or is it?
All we have to do is hit close out the poll, and it'll close it down for you.
There we go. Excellent. There we go. Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right.
You're good. Excellent.
All right. So IT. So to talk a little bit about IT and what Track-It does for IT, and I'll kind of compare that again to footprints and email and some of those things, and as well the older version of Track-It. But right now, with Track-It, there's a very robust self-service portal. It's great to have employees more in control of their own destiny, in terms of what issues do they have, what's going on with issues, and what's the current status for a help desk, general help desk request. There's also a knowledge management component within Track-It, the new Track-It. And then asset management has been totally redone from the old Track-It 11 days. It now includes support for desktops, mobile, and servers with remote control, software deployment that can be, bare metal provisioning all the way up to specific applications can be automated and managed. Patch management as well, and then procurement or IT purchasing is now a capability in there. And it's always good to know when you have all these assets, when they change, what's the process to get those to change. So Track-It does take advantage of that with some software to help manage those workflows and those requests and approvals and plans. And then dashboards and analytics. Everybody wants to know what's going on and what has gone on. So we can, the new Track-It does take advantage of that. So a quick little screenshot here of the self-service portal. And I've got a few, half dozen screenshots, and then I'll jump into the facilities and HR, a screen or two for those, and then talk about our the Flycast Partners Cloud offering with Track-It. So the self-service portal, you can see where employees can search for a solution, hit the knowledge base, and then as well create a new ticket if the solution is not found. And then in terms of seeing what's in control of their destiny, they can see their tickets, the status of those tickets. They can also see their change requests, maybe an executive or a leadership or just a human resources wanted to request a new laptop for a new employee. They can see the status of those changes. That would technically be a change to the IT organization. And I can see the status of that request, if it's procured, if it's going through approvals for a purchase approval, and then and not have to call or track down the IT group for an update. the employees themselves can just go right to this portal and view the status of their current request. Nice thing about employee self-service portals, I don't know how many of you use one today, but some companies, over the years that have had great success with this, and this really does help companies in a number of ways. But one little idea here is to brand the self-service portal. Give it a name that kind of lends itself to your, maybe your company, something unique to your company. I know we rolled one out with a large grocery retailer that had a U-Scan component, and so they called their portal, self-service portal, U Help. So something easy to remember. Some companies give it a name. So they go to Rich, for help, and Rich is actually just the name of the self-service portal. It's not actually it's not really Rich Longo. So anyway, good way to make the portal something that's easy to remember, easy to lean on, and give it some additional value, give it a personality. The help desk, obviously Track-It is really good at tracking help desk issues, and you can see it, in terms of this. This is a technician screen. The help desk technician can quickly see all the different tickets that are in their queue or in their team's queue, if there's teams that are being utilized. Critical requests are highlighted in red, or in red. High priorities are blue. Colors schemes can be changed. Filters can be put in place, so the technician can just look for specific things, specific types of requests as well, if they're trying to hone in on something. So it's a good way to launch the view, but it's 100% web-based. There's no client software needed anywhere, not even for custom configuration and or modifications. Reporting as well is all internally baked in the system through the browser. Knowledge management. Here I jumped over to our knowledge management form, and you can see it's what you would expect in 2019. Clean, very easy to search for solutions. You can browse for solutions as well. The employees can, the technicians can. This can be shared on the self-service portal. There can be solutions that don't make it to the self-service portal but are just for internal technicians. And as well, the technicians can rate the solution with a star rating, can provide some feedback real quick. So very easy, very clean, and as well, it can be populated with information that's popular out in the industry, as well as from your own internal systems. And then asset management, remote control. Track-It, the old Track-It, the 11 flavor and before had some remote control capabilities. Remote control is now based on the BMC client management solution, and that supports a number of technologies. But again, from a support staff perspective, once an employee has logged a request or has been entered in the system, the technician can go to that, with the approvals and configuration settings, because of HIP and different regulations. Some employees can grant access for remote control to be taken advantage or offered at the time of the request, or it can just be in stealth mode as well. So for perhaps PCs that are remote kiosks, perhaps your organization supports some self-service kiosk, maybe in a college environment or a healthcare environment or a library environment. Those remote stations can just be controlled as well and monitored. So a lot of capabilities there with it. And then software deployment. Software deployments again is really plays well with change management, which is an application that's part of Track-It now. And change management with software deployment actually supports, well, for one, the deployment module supports Windows, Mac, Unix, Linux, VMwares, Hyper-V, and as well printers and routers. So there's a lot of different technologies that can be supported with software deployment. And as I said earlier, bare metal provisioning can be done as well. So very, very powerful, and that's a component with Track-It. There may and your Flycast Partners account manager can really drill down into what if you're licensed today for Track-It, what you're licensed for with software deployment, or as well with a new system, they can make sure you get the proper licensing there. But this is a bolt-on feature that's extremely powerful and integrates extremely tightly with Track-It. So technologies play very, very well together. In this screenshot here, you can kind of get a feel for it. We're looking at an OS deployment rollout, but you can see there's also a number of other capabilities that can, software can be pushed out to just one device, a range of devices, different device groups can also be pushed out at certain times. Things can be scheduled for overnight activity, overnight deployment, things of that nature. So very, very robust technology from BMC software there. Software compliance as well is always a key driver for those companies in healthcare or that take payments, credit card payments over the from a number of different ways, as well as software compliance in terms of licensing with the software that companies use in each unique environment. So Microsoft is always a big one, Adobe, but there's also a number of other software providers that the compliance module supports. It supports every application that is part of the software deployment platform as well. So a lot of good reports in terms of hardware and software compliance, in terms of authentication compliance, as well as licensing. So it's a very robust platform, and I'm really, I apologize for the brevity of all of this because Track-It itself can be a 45-minute to an hour demonstration. Software distribution and compliance and remote control, that can be another 45 minutes to an hour demonstration. So I'm really just trying to jump around and give all of our attendees here a quick overview of some of the capabilities that Track-It will offer you in a cloud environment. And everything I'm showing you here today right now is all managed from the Flycast cloud environment. No hardware, no software required on premise at all. And then let's jump over to change management. So you've got all these assets out there. It's good to kind of know, now that you know what you have, it's good to know how you're going to change it as things change. So that's what change management does offer to everyone. And change management here is, as you can kind of see this screenshot, there's actually some change policies that can be implemented or entered in for your organization. Makes your auditors, your IT auditors, happy that you have the policies right there as the change is being initiated and can be referenced. And then approvals. There's some tabs down here. Approvals for the different stages of the change request. Perhaps there's some hardware that has to be purchased. Maybe there's some software that has to be relicensed to be upgraded or updated, and there's a charge, a cost associated with that there that requires management approval. Things of that nature. Definitely part of the approval process for dollar amounts, as well as just the project to transition to the next phase of the project. Then details in terms of what is part of that change project, what does it entail? Are there any milestones? And then you have some attachments that are relevant to the project, rollout plans, fallback plans if the change doesn't go as planned. What's the fallback plan? Things of that nature. And then was there an initiating ticket or originating tickets that started this whole change request? Those can all be linked into this one form. So very, very cohesive, very comprehensive, and a good value for Track-It. customers. Dashboards and reporting is also very robust. It's inherent within the Track-It product today. Perhaps in days gone by, that was a separate tool. I think with some of the footprints versions, that was a separate tool as well. So that's now it's all inherent. Very powerful. There are a number of canned reports that exist today, and then there's also the graphs that are easy to configure and easy to customize as well. Reports have information around, well, they're organized by module, but they have a number of open tickets, open escalations, open change requests. There are overdue reports as well, and there are also reports that can be created from scratch. So whatever you need and you want to see if the data is in the system, it's easy to get it out. So there's a lot of capabilities there as well. Facilities, just a real quick on facilities. Again, the nice thing is once you're licensed, if you have a couple concurrent licenses, the facilities team can have this facilities group spun up, and they can use the system with no additional licensing cost. So it's, they hit a website, they hit your website, and we would typically integrate with your own security certificates, and that this application runs basically as part of your intranet. But the facilities team, they log in, they can see their scheduled work orders. They can have their own categories, and in old Track-It lingo, categories were called types, in V11. But the categories can be managed or created for facilities request for perhaps maintenance, building maintenance, transportation services might be a facilities responsibility as well. Elevators, may need servicing. There may be an issue with the elevators. Windows, might need to be cleaned or replaced. A broken window. All those can be managed within the same software. The IT team doesn't see any of this information. The data is segregated, so it's completely separate from what the facilities team sees, as well as the different categories. So IT doesn't see facilities categories and vice versa. So information can be totally separate. Having said that, though, some information can be shared, like the employee names and contact information for the employees that would report this facility request. It also, the same employee database would be referenced for the IT service request and things of that nature. So Track-It is a great platform. Then there are ticket templates. There's facilities might have multiple a need for multiple email addresses. Track-It does support that. So it's easy to have a customer, an external customer to the organization, actually support enter a transportation request perhaps, or something like that, and the system could process that. Service level agreements, definitely something you won't get in email, with an email system. But what's the turnaround time for a response back to that requester? What's the turnaround time for maybe a closed, to have that request closed or at least acknowledged? There's an escalation path, automatic, that the system can offer. So a lot of good stuff there with service level agreements. And then email to ticket conversion, it's throughout, the entire Track-It platform. But for facilities, an employee on the road just might email in and say, hey, my laptop broke, that would go to IT. But an employee might say, hey, my parking pass isn't working anymore, and they email that in. That can go to facilities automatically and get that resolved. With automatic email to ticket conversion, it can get routed to the right person immediately. So a lot of good capabilities there. And I apologize, everybody. I'm just kind of running fast through these, but I'm going to touch on HR here for a quick second. Again, as I did say, employee data can be shared between all those different groups. The human resources folks might have some additional sensitive employee data that they don't want all the other groups to see or know about. So that would be segregated out based on the architecture of Track-It, no additional cost or anything like that. But so HR sensitive data is segregated out, and we also segregate out the facilities data, the IT data, so the other groups don't, again, see everybody else's data. HR can also reference or utilize the self-service portal, and from an HR perspective, it's benefits, it's payroll, it's insurance type questions. There can be skills-based routing based on the request, so the appropriate benefits person or the appropriate payroll person gets the request, whether it be from a manager or an employee, and there's different levels of complexity there. And again, multiple email addresses are supported, which definitely helps with employees that come and go. It may be the end of the year after someone's left 16 months ago, and they still need their W-2 from prior years, thanks to the soon to be here 2018. If you haven't filed your taxes by now, I think there's 5 more days. Today's the 10th, so October the 15th is the last day the stragglers can actually file income tax for 2018. So if in the event that an employee needs a W-2 at this stage of the game, they could still email that into from wherever they may be, email that request into the system and perhaps get a call back or a response back from the company to get that information to them, so they can process their income tax a year and a half later. Again, email ticket conversion right there as well. So that's kind of a rundown of Track-It in a 20-minute quick run through. So what do you think? I've got a poll here. Let's see here. Where are my polls here?
Now you do have a question here. While you're pulling up the poll, let me read off a question. They want to know, does it interface with TFS? And that comes from Clifton.
Clifton, thank you for that question. TFS, that is a TFS. I guess Clifton, if you can provide a little more insight into what sort of what would be interfaced with TFS. I know there's for one, just from a back-end database or an
Microsoft
integration.
Team Foundation server is what he said.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. Thank you. So that I am not familiar with that off the top of my head, honestly, but there is an API that definitely supports industry standards. That is a component of this. So for Team Foundation Server, that might be for some workflows, some delegating out some tasks for different groups. I guess I'm thinking there, Clifton. But we can definitely have an offline conversation with one of our technicians, that's really a hands-on implementation expert and get you an answer there. And then okay, great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rich. So what groups, question here for everybody. So what groups within your organization could benefit from a tool like this? I mean, I kind of put out the IT. I think IT is going to be always getting there, but other groups, I put out there human resources, facilities, marketing, legal. Marketing, for one, let me touch on marketing real quick as this poll is open. The marketing can be requests for data sheets or maybe seminars that are website updates. There can also be campaign requests for marketing, trade show requests for marketing. So a lot of companies have marketing teams insourced or outsourced. Might be a good way to help manage some workflow there. And then legal contracts are typically out there all the time. So, review a new contract, maybe revise an existing contract, things of that nature. Might be some value. There you go. Yeah, looks like the responses here are yep, 100% IT. Yeah, that's it. We kind of expected that. Human resources, yeah, very very popular. And then facilities and legal. So a few facilities, a few legal folks, could see some value there. Yep, and very that's the value of Track-It. So there's a lot of different groups that can be utilized, and it's a great architecture. And just a step back here, a lot of the old Track-It customers and Track-It in the old days used to be pretty much locked down, or it was kind of on rails. What you saw was what you got. And now with the new Track-It 2019, it's all the forms are completely configurable, completely customizable. New fields can be added. Tabs can be added to a specific form, like the tabs we saw for the the request and the approval, or the tabs we saw for, I think it was approvals, details, and attachments and things of that nature. Those tabs can be added to any form, and they can be whatever tabs you'd like them to be. So it's really I would say a great database management tool that happens to have a very powerful UI front end. So from forms customization as well as from business rules and workflow management. Business rules are extremely powerful as well in Track-It, and I'll just leave it there. But very very powerful business rules. And as we jump on here to let's go to my next screen here. So the cloud. So let's talk for a few minutes about the Track-It, or the Flycast Partners Cloud.
Well, before you go on, there's another question. Can data be migrated from another services? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. The backend database that we utilize in the cloud on your behalf is Microsoft SQL, and without a doubt, we can import data. It just has to be massaged. Ideally, if we can get your data in an Excel spreadsheet, we're golden. And it'd have to be, we'd like it, organized by, or those employees. Of course, employees typically come from active, the AD domains, or your AD groups. We can pull them in as well. But if it's archival ticket information, we can pull in. If it's asset data, we can pull that in. Whatever kind of data you're thinking of, it's a SQL database. We can definitely massage it and get it there. And we can have another offline or another one-on-one discussion with your Flycast Partners account manager and one of our technical resources to really drill down into that in more detail. But at a high level, absolutely. There's a couple ways to do that. Any other questions out there, Rich?
It looks like we don't. Nope, that was the last one.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. All right. So the Flycast Cloud, it is a great value. It is managed by experts, and these are ITSM experts as well as technology experts. So, granted, all the attendees today, I'm certain, are great IT experts. What we bring to the table a little different is we do Track-It day in and day out. We do IT service management day in and day out. So we really can make sure your system is configured and being utilized as effectively as possible. So you get the most bang for your buck, the most value out of that investment. And it is a cloud offering utilizing Azure, so it is secure. It is a subscription-based purchase as well, but it's secure and it's scalable. So again, it's what you would expect. So as your company grows, you don't have to worry about sourcing new hardware, moving to an additional new server, all those time wasters, that take you away from your day-to-day business of managing your company's IT organization. So it's a great offering there. And a couple more screens right here on the Flycast Partners Cloud. So we do the installation, whether you have existing Track-It licenses, or you purchase some new ones, we can install those in your cloud instance that we have for you. So the nice thing is the old perpetual license model was very, very effective from a recurring cost standpoint for companies, for customers like yourselves, because it was only the maintenance component that had to be paid annually once the perpetual license was paid for. And that's still the model that BMC has today for Track-It. So we just work with you. If you already have those licenses, you just continue maintenance on those. We install them in your environment in our cloud. If you're a new customer considering an IT service management tool and Track-It's the solution for you, then we would provide, or we would offer you the BMC Track-It license, a perpetual license. So there'd be a slightly higher upfront cost for that. But then the recurring subscription fees year over year, those would be a lot lower, and those would be in line with what everybody who wants to go to the cloud sees, actually be a little more attractive because you've made that upfront perpetual license purchase. And we can get into the numbers again with your Flycast Partners account manager. But we do install those licenses for you, so you don't have to worry about the installation process, anything like that. You don't have to worry about what version of the database is installed with what version of the OS and all those patch levels and all that fun stuff. We get security certificates from you. We integrate with your AD, and we get things moving. There's testing that's done, obviously, to ensure that that's all bolted on appropriately before you go into production. And then, there's a continuity plan in place as well. Well, our team, because we know Track-It, we know IT service management, we know best practices, we will make any adjustments necessary to the application for you, adjustments that conform to industry best practices. So it's not like we're designing the IT help desk for the first time for a new organization or for a company. We've done it. We know the best ways to do it, and we have a team of maybe 50 or so consultants now that are out there that are just fantastic in terms of how they manage and maintain customer environments. So we have a wealth of expertise and certifications to back that up as well. And then we'll do periodic maintenance in terms of patches. As BMC announces or releases new patches, we will coordinate and just implement those for you on your behalf. Coordinate that so it's not a surprise to you or your teams. But again, we'll take care of those maintenance tasks. We'll also monitor things for performance in terms of response times, troubleshooting, make sure everything's up 100% of the time, or 99, 5 nines of uptime is what Microsoft Azure shoots for. So that's what we shoot for as well. If things have to be restored, we will definitely take care of that process for you as well. And some other things we do. So there's VPNs that are provided. We do backups for your data, an unlimited number of backups we'll do. We take snapshots of your environment because it is mission critical. We get that. We can encrypt your data, as needed. And then storage, based on a number of attachments, number of tickets and data that's stored. We definitely make sure there's plenty of storage for you as well. So all those items are off your plate, and we provide regular management calls, leadership calls on a semi-annual basis to make sure that you're comfortable with everything that's being done, and if you need anything else, and again, the Flycast Partners account team will take care of coordination of all those activities and events for you. And to say, that biannual, as I change screens on you guys here, I apologize for that. But the biannual calls, that's more of a formal process. Obviously, we're all available whenever you need us. So all U.S. based as well, I should mention. Rich down in St. Petersburg, Florida, and our teams throughout the U.S. So Track-It in a few different configurations that are popular. We have a small Track-It configuration for up to 10 techs and 150 requesters. Then there's a medium environment, 30 techs, 200 requesters, and then custom environments. We have we have large customers, banking customers that have hundreds of users, 300 plus users in Track-It environments. So Track-It can scale quite large, and so again, those are all custom environments. Um, so I think we've got about 5 minutes left before we wrap it up here, Rich. That's it for me. We've got some time for questions now. So, are there any additional questions out there?
I don't have any more questions at the moment, and I do appreciate the feedback. Just so you know, we had some folks reach out and said we have footprints. We have somebody who had ServiceNow, a couple folks with Track-It and Jira. And then just service manager. So we have a little bit of variety out here in the audience as to what they're utilizing for their tools. But folks, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask now. We'll get those answers for you. And I believe you have one more poll too, don't you?
Oh, we do have another poll. So yes, thank you, Rich. So poll number 3: does your company have a cloud initiative? Say it. Do we have any cloud initiatives out there?
You know, it's funny because we have so many organizations we're dealing with lately. Cloud seems to be the big buzzword with a lot of companies out there trying to move to the cloud, and it can be a daunting task, for IT departments to have that time to get everything moved up there, and it takes time away from your normal day-to-day duties. So we can definitely help you out with that. And I'm just curious, how many of you actually have a cloud initiative? How many organizations uh, that are on here today or have that daunting task ahead of them? And looks like we've got 50-50 as of right now. Nope, 60-40. There we go. So the majority of you guys have a cloud initiative going on.
Very good. Yes. Yep. And that's to that point. That's one of the reasons we did develop this offering, because a lot of customers, majority now, really do have cloud initiatives. So we definitely have. This has taken a year or two to come out of the oven. This the Flycast Cloud, in terms of pulling everything together, but it really is a robust offering from our side, and it definitely adds value to customers, and it assures compliance with cloud initiatives, and all the goals can be achieved. So, whether it's cost reduction, simplification of staff resources, um, all the standard cloud benefits, we definitely do offer. So,
So we do have another question. This comes to us. It looks more like ServiceNow. How different is it from ServiceNow?
it is a good question. So, how different is it from ServiceNow? So it's going to be, Track-It is going to be a very industrial strength. Um, I would say an industrial strength pit bull. I mean, the workflow engine with the business rules now, with the form customizations, and this and is rock solid. It's fantastic, and it's be happy to show you, honestly, in another 45-minute demonstration from a system administration perspective, how strong the new Track-It is, because it's phenomenal, and it'll honestly, this this technology actually has been in BMC's vault for quite a few years, and it's some great technology that's extremely industrial strength. So I honestly, I would say, as this starts to get out, Track-It 2019 starts to really get out in the marketplace. It's going to be a fantastic tool to take away a lot of ServiceNow customers that are tired of paying, six figures or high end five figures for that solution, because it's very robust.
It's funny you bring that up, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's funny you bring that up. We're finding a lot of folks that are leaving ServiceNow. Lately, we've encountered quite a bit of that because of the cost. A lot of it due to the cost, and the fact that this tool is just as effective, and and they won't have to worry about all the cost and additional work that goes into it, similar to ServiceNow. So something to keep in mind.
Good question. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Rich. And yeah, I could call this a ServiceNow killer. For some of the ServiceNow customers that are over the barrel with exorbitant costs, this is a phenomenal offering to really consider.
It looks like we've got all our questions answered, and the majority of our folks that responded to the poll looks like they all have a cloud initiative. So that's pretty about the norm. What we're facing daily here at Flycast Partners, that's what we're seeing. We see a lot of people coming to us for that because with us with the Azure piece and being able to get people hosted in the cloud, a lot of folks have been coming to us and asking us, what can we do for them? So it's about par for the course. Any other questions, folks? Well, Dan, thank you for sharing this information. I mean, it was great information, and hopefully our audience, can take this back and maybe go back to whoever they need to talk to about their cloud initiative and reach out to us, and maybe we can help you.
Yes, thank you, Rich, very much, and thank you, everybody, as well. Appreciate your time and your questions. Have a great day.
All right, folks, have a great day. Enjoy.